In the last video that I posted, I actually made a mistake, in particular the calculations for the ShoreKeeper's discernment intro. So this video is going to correct that. We are going to look at the ShoreKeeper's kit once again and what it's like to build her as a main DPS. Okay, so without further ado, let's do it. Let's roll that intro. Let's go. Hello world, hello YouTube. Kamusta sa inyong lahat? Mga kaibigan at mga kapitbahay, welcome to a new video, and this one is to correct yesterday's video. We are going to fix the ShoreKeeper's kit and at the same time recalculate her damage as part of our ShoreKeeper calculation series. And you can actually watch those other two videos. Just look it up on the channel. But before all that, let me just say that I'm really sorry for that mistake that I made. The calculation, especially for the intro discernment, is way too high. And this morning, while chatting with our community, one of the commenters pointed out the mistake, and yes, it is. Well, not really pointed out, but later they pointed it out. But I already discovered what the problem is, because we were chatting, and oh, okay, there is a problem here. We need to fix this. We need to correct this. So yeah, my sincerest apologies to everyone who watched that video, which I put on private at the moment, because I don't want to mislead anyone. I hate doing that. And you know what, like mistakes do happen, especially like in my case, because I have to work on this while also doing, doing my breaks at work or at home, and I only have a very small window to work on these videos. So really, my apologies. I'm gonna work hard on it and improve on it in the near future. So again, huge sorry to everyone. Also, feel free to pause this video, especially when the graphics for the kit and the damage is up, so that you can look more in depth with the calculations and the kit. Also, you can use the timestamps. I have timestamps in the description. I'm just not sure why YouTube is not reflecting that on the video itself. So my apologies there. I'm gonna look at it and see how to fix that. But if you go to the description, there should be a timestamp there. Also, one more thing. The kit for the ShoreKeeper, I'm not going to show it here. We're going to limit the discussion about the kit itself, because we don't want to, get into the bad side of Kuru Games. I know they don't want leaks coming out, so we're going to limit that. And do note that all info in this video, do take it with a grain of salt, because the ShoreKeeper is not yet officially out. Okay, so it's possible that in tomorrow Kuru Games will change her kit all of a sudden and just pull the rug underneath us. Anyway, this is the new build for the ShoreKeeper. I made some adjustments for this DPS build. We are still going to be using the Celestial Light 5-piece and Morning Ikes as her 4-cost echo. For her weapon, I'm going with Variation R1, okay? Previously, I used a crit rate weapon, but the weapon, this is kind of tricky because there's not a lot of good weapons out there. And the only one right now that I think is easy to obtain without dishing out money would be Variation R1. Of course, like if you use her best in slot, the Stellar Symphony, that's better for her. And also, like any weapon with crit rate or crit damage would be great on the ShoreKeeper. As a DPS, I mean, as a DPS unit, any crit rate weapon would work with the ShoreKeeper, especially Yinlin's best in slot. Now, for the 4-cost, you could run crit damage percent or crit rate percent depending on how you want your ShoreKeeper to deal damage. Of course, along with the crit, main stat, you also have attack in there. Now, the 3 costs, both of them will have a spectral damage and attack. And then the 1 cost, both of them will, this time will have HP percent and flat HP. Because of these changes, her attack has gone down to 1051 at S0, 1629 at S2, and 2070 at S6. Now, for her spectral damage bonus, it will range between 70% all the way to 124% with liberation buffs. HP also increased to 30,900. As for healing bonus with the unlocked stats, we are gonna get 12%. Now, if you unlock S4, you will get a total of 82% because of the 70% increase. ER also goes up to 215. Now, with crit damage, the base is at 194% right now at S0. And this accounts for crit damage coming from the 4 cost if you decide to build her with crit damage 4 cost, okay? Now, it goes up to 215 with liberation. And if you unlock S6 with liberation, we are looking at 715%. Now, because of these new changes, the R skill healing is going to go up to 3537 at S0 and 5747 if you unlock S4. Liberation goes up to 13177 at S0 and 21412 if you unlock S4. As for crit buffs, crit rate is going to go up to 10.5 and crit damage at 21%. Now, let's look at the updated numbers. So there's not a lot of difference from last night. You know, we're just gonna reflect the new stats right now, and so far, based on her basic attacks, for example, there's not a lot of changes. Most of the change is gonna happen is gonna be with her discernment. Note that this damage is based off full levels, like she's at level 10 and her talents are also at top level, at the highest possible level. And looking at this, for example, like with her basic attack, as long as it crits, I think the damage is not that bad. But the biggest change would be in her intro skills. So Enlightenment at S0 is at 17,068 and it crits to 36,697. Okay? Note that these are all like the I've already accounted for all the spectral damage buffs and the changes in crit rate based on her S level. If you unlock S2, your Enlightenment is going to be at 26,456 and your crit is at 56,880. And if you unlock S6, your Enlightenment is going to be at 33,624 with a crit of 72,293. So that's okay, right? So those are really good numbers, I think. Now, with discernment, at S0, without crit, it's going to be 41,529. And with crit, it's 89,288. At S2, it's going to be the same numbers. But it's at S6 that, you know, there's going to be like some significant change here. And we're looking at, without crit, 153,658. And with crit, we're looking at 1,100,000 crit damage. So I'm looking at these numbers. They're not as huge as last night's calculation when I posted the previous video, but still, for example, for myself, I'm just looking for S0. 89,288 looks good to me. Now, I included a no crit version to this calculation because I definitely need to be able to see the no crit version. But do note that discernment will crit 100%. So you only need to look at the crit numbers here with discernment. It's guaranteed 100%. It's always going to crit. 89,288 at S0 and S2. Okay? And at S6, it's 1,100,000. That's all you need to know there with discernment. However, you need to proc discernment. So my suggestion is, right now, I haven't played her yet, so we don't know what is really going to happen. But my theory is this. First, you cast Liberation, and then you cast the echo to get all the the pile of stacks. Hopefully, based on the descriptions, it doesn't appear that it won't carry over. I think it will carry over, and then you swap out. I'm not sure if you need two characters to do intro skill. I believe it's you only need one to do their intro skill, and then you swap back in with your ShoreKeeper so that she can do her intro skill as well, and then that's how you proc the discernment. And this is why I think variation will work well with her, because it provides in its passive, it provides concerto energy, and you need concerto energy in order to proc your Resonator's intro skill. What stats should you prioritize for a ShoreKeeper DPS build? I would say there are two versions. Number one, if you just want her to deal huge damage from her intro discernment, then you need to prioritize, I think, number one, crit damage, number two, HP, number three, ER, number four, if you could get liberation bonus from your echoes, and number five, crit rate. In fact, you probably don't need crit rate at if you just want to use her to deal huge damage for intro. Just focus on all the other four, especially crit damage and HP and ER. Now, the other version is a high crit rate for a more, like across the board, all her attacks will deal more crit. You want to definitely go with crit rate, then follow it up with crit damage, HP, ER, and if you could get some liberation damage bonus as well from your echo rolls. Now, if you want to her into a DPS, you need a Sub-DPS who could also buffer. Me, I have Sheshi, and she's leveled up enough to provide those support damage increase buffs. So I would use her definitely for this character. And you have Verena as well. So Verena is not going to retire. Not yet. Okay? If you're going to use her as a DPS. I mean, Verena provides attack buffs as well. And she also provides heals. But maybe you could use a different character in place of Verena, somebody else. Because since the ShoreKeeper provides her own heals, right? And it's party-wide. Also, you may want to consider Sanwa in your team comp. Instead of Verena, maybe put Sanwa in there. So, consider that. Also, the Rover, a Spectral Rover, I think is going to work well with the ShoreKeeper. He could be your main damage dealer with the ShoreKeeper as your sub-DPS. As for her healing and buffs, with this build, I think 13,000 at S0 is quite okay. I'm okay with that. It's higher than the 11,000 that I had last night. And 13,000 is better, definitely. But you have to realize how many characters do you need to heal at 13,000, right? Most of the characters really doesn't go over 20k anyways. Let's say 20k. That's just, a 7,000 difference. And given the fact that you have a Resonator who has high ER and concerto energy, chances are she will be on the field a lot of times to provide heals. So it's not a problem. This is very appealing. Now, with regards to crit buffs, 10.5 and 21% crit damage. 10.5 crit rate, 21% crit damage. Sounds good. That's okay as well for me. The loss in crit for your main DPS will actually get compensated by the ShoreKeeper's intro skill. I think, that's how I see it. So there it is. The updated video. Again, I'm really sorry. My apologies for last night. The mistakes there. We're only human. I make mistakes. And I do get tired as well. You know what? I'm putting in a lot of effort and a lot of time working on these spreadsheets. And, once in a while, I do get fatigued. In fact, like, I was planning not to make any videos tonight just to rest up, because I'm not feeling that great at the moment. But here we are. I guess no rest for the wicked, right? And that's because we want to give our community the best advice as much as possible. So thank you so much, guys, for your support. Thank you so much for understanding. Uh, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, binge watch on the other videos that I posted. You know, blah 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 blah. You know the deal. Maraming salamat po sa pagsuporta ninyo. Really appreciate you guys. I enjoy reading all the comments, and thank you so much to those people who helped me find the problem and fix them. Okay. And as promised, here's the video I commented earlier. As soon as I get home, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna make a new video just to correct the mistake there. So I think this one is, this video, the calculations here are more accurate compared to last night's version. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Maraming salamat po. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!